Hey, what's going on, folks? So today we're going to be talking about the Grizzly Kryonaut Extreme Thermal Paste. I picked this up for $120. Yeah, $120 US. This is something that I have no experience with. Actually, this will be the first time that I try this in this video. Here they're claiming this to have a thermal conductivity of 14.2 watts per meter Kelvin. This is the 33.8 gram small little jar that you get. So it's plenty of product there. And this is something that I understand it's for extreme overclockers, like if you're doing liquid nitrogen and whatnot, this will be for you because it has better thermal resistance. It'll prevent your thermal paste, or the thermal paste won't crack as easily with other the thermal paste. I don't want to say cheap, because this stuff actually, most of this good thermal paste do have a premium with them, so they come along with them. So anyway, this is the little bottle, the little jar that you get here. And before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a look at what we get also included in the little box. We get 3 spatulas with Thermal Grizzly on them, in case you forget. They wanted to make sure that, yeah, you know. So there we go. Put those back. And now let's look at this again. So yeah, this is built like a tank. Doesn't feel like it's going to be squeezing out on you anytime soon. So whatever's in there, it'll stay in there. Let's open this up. And I have not used this paste. Actually, this is exactly how it looked when I first opened this, because I have opened it, I just haven't tried it. That's just what it looks like. That's what 33.8 grams looks like. And the thermal paste is actually not that bright. I don't know if the camera displays this as being brighter pink. It's actually more settled than that. And yes, it is that shiny. So if pink is not your color, then I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, yeah, we're going to be trying this on the GTX 770. Enough mumbling around. Let's get to it. Now heading over to the Arctic website, you can't find the watts per meter Kelvin specification on this thermal paste. What you do end up getting is just some basic information. 8-year durability, same as MX-4. Yeah, this is just, even if you go to the spec sheet here, same data that you find on the main page, on the front page. So it's nothing new. They do tell you a little bit about it, like it's composed of carbon microparticles. Yeah, okay. I don't know what that's all about. I'm not a scientist. I don't make thermal pastes, but yeah, it sounds fancy to me. And then you go to the Thermal Grizzly website. Now here they give it to you up front is 14.2 watts per meter Kelvin, as I said earlier. They're saying it's electrically non-conductive nano aluminum oxide particles. I don't know what that all entails, so I won't dwell on that too much. But looking at the thermal resistance here, that's minus 250 Celsius and up to 350 Celsius. So that's very impressive. So if you're an extreme overclocker, you do LN2, or for whatever reason you're going up to 350 Celsius, this is a thermal paste for you, especially at the premium that you're paying. Yeah, so there it is. Alright guys, so here we got our first contestant, MX-5. Actually, I have this running in my RX 6700 XT graphics card. It works great, so I can tell you that yeah, this is a good thermal paste as far as thermals go. But let's go ahead and put this one aside and focus on this one here. All right, let's get the spread test going here. And I think this ought to be enough considering how expensive this stuff is. I really ought to be careful with it. I almost feel like, oh man, you know, don't want to waste any, but this is never a waste. It's all for fun. Alrighty, so we set that there, and then spread a little bit of MX-5. Man, yeah, this was stuck a little. On the other side here. Okay. And we'll start with Thermal Grizzly Extreme, Kryonaut Extreme. And I can tell you that this feels a lot more viscous, more, is that a word? Yeah, I think so. It is thicker. It does feel, it's easy to spread, as you can see here. It's not, I mean, it doesn't take much, but it's not as soft as MX-4 or Kryonaut, the regular Kryonaut. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. That's good. Let's see. Yeah, it is a little bit thicker. The viscosity, it's thicker. Yeah, you can feel it. So the spatula doesn't slide as easily as with the other thermal pastes I have tested in the past. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, now let's do MX-5. And yep, this is a lot easier. This thing just wants to slide like, yeah. Yep. It's a lot easier to spread, but don't get me wrong. Kryonaut Extreme was also easy. There's not much difference between the two. So spreading either one of these pastes won't be a problem. It's nothing like Icy Diamond where you almost had to heat it up in hot water. You had to let it sit in hot water for the thermal paste to get soft enough for you to be able to spread it. Yeah, not doing that again. No guys, this yeah, so both pastes, as you can see there, they spread pretty well. Obviously different textures, different consistencies. It looks like the Kryonaut Extreme is actually a little more flat. As you can tell, Arctic has a little more shine to it. Alright guys, so the methodology that I'm going to be using today for testing the thermal paste is that I'll be using GPU-Z to keep track of our average frequency and our average temperature. This here will give us an idea of how the card or the GPU is performing with the thermal paste and how well your thermal paste is transferring the heat from your GPU onto the heatsink and then from the heatsink out to the air. Obviously, if the card is getting too hot, if it's reaching a point where it's just too much for it, the card itself will begin to throttle, thermal throttle or power throttle to protect itself. That's just how this is built. So we'll keep track of our average temperature as well. That will give us an idea, how well the thermal pastes are performing, or the best that I can, at least for what my knowledge and what I have at hand here. And we're going to be using this abomination here too. This is like the prime 95 of GPU tests. It'll put an unrealistic load on your GPU. This is good for testing reliability and overclocking, that sort of thing, but for realistically it's too much. It really puts, like I said, an unrealistic load on your GPU. So this is good for this type of tests. Okay. that's all I have to say about this. So but anyway, we're not going to be touching the core voltage or doing any overclocking or adjusting the power limit. We're just going to load a profile that I have here where the temperature limit is changed from default 79 to 90 Celsius. This is to let the car do what it wants to do. I haven't seen the temperatures go up to 90 Celsius yet, even with this test. So this will give it plenty of room to play, or let the thermal paste show what they got. And also we're going to change the fan speed to 100%. This is fixed. All right, so let's go ahead and load this profile here, and things will begin to get a little loud. We'll start the test. We will obviously reset this. First, we're going to let this kind of pick up a little bit. Let it reach 60, and then we'll reset and start from there. And we'll do this with every test. Let's see here, almost there. Bear with me. And go. All right, so I'll see you guys in 45 minutes. All right, guys, so it's been about 45 minutes now, and as you can see, we're hitting an average of 85.8 Celsius degrees on the GPU, and the clock speeds have maintained an average 1118 megahertz. So you can see that the limiter here has been power, not thermal, so the car has been able to go as high as it wants to on the temperature, and yeah, that's what we're averaging. But okay, we'll go ahead and take the card apart and replace the thermal paste. We'll start with MX-5. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take this card apart and get rid of this old thermal paste we got in here. And old, I don't mean old as age old, I mean as, I don't know what I mean. Don't listen to me. Anyway, I'm going to be scrubbing the heatsink as well to get rid of any residue, any impurities, microscopic residue that we may have left from the old thermal paste. So yeah. Alrighty, here it is. Get that aside. Okay, and we're going to be using for the first time the Noxua pads, wipe. What do they call it? Cleaning wipe. So yeah, I'm going to be using this to remove the thermal paste from the GPU at least. I don't know if we'll have enough for the heatsink as well. We'll see. And yeah, it works as expected. So, as it should, I should say. Yep, doing a pretty good job. Okay, and let's go for the heatsink here. Right on, not sure. Yeah. But then again, I know you guys are quality as a brand, so I wouldn't expect anything less from you. Yes, I'm a Noxua fan. I am. So, yeah, I think that looks pretty clean there. Let's give this a quick scrub. I'm going to do this off camera because I don't want any of the residue from here to fall onto the GPU. Alright, that's that. We got some residue there. Just to show you that we're trying to get this as pure and as clean as possible, as clean as I can at least. So okay, let's put this aside, bring this puppy here and throw on some MX-5. All right, let's go a little modest there. And you guys know this stuff spreads really well, so I don't suspect we'll have any issues here. And if you don't like this ASMR part of the video, you can go ahead and just skip to the results, of course, but you already know that. For those of you who are weird like me and find this relaxing, you're welcome to stick around. Okay, and the one thing about spreading the thermal paste is that you don't want to accelerate as you go. You just want to kind of like let the spatula rest and kind of let it take you. Just, I mean, obviously you want to push or pull a little bit, but you feel it slide or glide over the GPU, and that's how you want to do it. You don't want to rush or pull too fast, because then you're just not doing it right. Or I don't want to say you're not doing it right, but yeah, it's better this way. There you go. So that's it. MX-5 applied. Let's go ahead and put it back together, throw it back in the system, and rerun the test and see how this does. All right, so it's time for round 2. Let's go ahead and get the test started. Load up our profile, of course. Okay, let's reset. All right, we'll start there. All right, guys, so it has been 45 minutes and we're averaging at 83 Celsius with MX-5. The frequency is still at 1118 megahertz, which is okay. All right, let's go ahead and do Kryonaut Extreme now. And all right, a good amount of Kryonaut Extreme has been applied. So we're ready for round 3. All right, guys, so now let's go ahead and test Kryonaut Extreme. Let's load up our profile. And we'll wait till we reach 60 here. And then we'll reset. All right, so let's go ahead and reset it here. All right, see you in a bit. All right, guys, so we've come to the conclusion of this test. And I am actually surprised. This is actually hitting 89 Celsius. This is like the highest of all 3 tests. Or, yeah, well, yeah, all 3 tests. 89 Celsius. One thing I have to mention though is that my frequency is a bit slightly higher. We're running at 1118 on all the other 2 tests. This one here is averaging 1125 megahertz. So yeah, just slightly higher. But we're also, yeah, our temps are like hitting my max. Yeah, almost hitting my maximum allowed temperature. I don't know really what to make out of these results, other than maybe I think the card is using the overhead, you know, because maybe if it is able to dissipate more heat into the air quicker than with the other thermal pastes, it is able to boost higher, consume more power, and you know, for that reason you have the higher temperatures. I'm not exactly sure how this is implemented and how the 770 is implementing that overhead. if there is such. But I mean, it would make sense that at this temperatures, this would actually go under 118. So yeah, I mean, it's 125 or 1125. So for those of you who like graphs, well, here you are. This is just a couple of things that I do want to point out, guys. That the GTX 770, it's like, for example, my setup. You have to think about that. This graphics card doesn't have the best heatsink in the world. You have to think about also the pressure between the heatsink and the die. That's one factor you have to consider. Also, Thermal Grizzly Kryonaut Extreme is not really aimed for these type of scenarios. It's more for like extreme overclockers. So if you're doing LN2, you know, if you're going minus 200 Celsius, that sort of thing, that's where this thermal paste will shine. Something like this, you're better off just sticking with Arctic MX-4 or MX-5. You'll be happier that way. Especially your wallet will thank you. Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Please hit thumbs up if you did. If you didn't for whatever reason, you know what to do. Please subscribe for more content coming up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.